there are a lot of environmental issues in the Caribbean.
The core work of the Secretariat is definitely to be responsive to some of the challenges that we face.
And right now, I see the Secretariat as a lifeline to ensuring the protection of the marine environment within the region.
It's about partnerships, it's about collective responsibility so that we can address this common issue but also opportunity. The development of the Caribbean Environment Program particularly represented the continuation of what I call this birth of environmentalism that was taking place globally, that started in the 1970s when the issue of environment and sustainable development came up, and UNEP then launched for the first time the Regional Seas Program and started setting up regional seas globally. The Caribbean was a little slow to get on board, but what triggered the development of the Caribbean Environment Program was a significant disaster. 2 oil tankers collided just off the coast of Trinidad and Tobago, probably still now the largest ever tanker collision that has taken place globally, releasing tons of oil into the Caribbean Sea. And that brought home to Caribbean governments just how vulnerable we were to the impacts of pollution, to the impacts of damage to our coastal and marine biodiversity, our coral reefs. And that, I would say, catalyzed the discussion within the region of the need for all of the governments to come together and decide how we can protect the Caribbean Sea. UNEP was approached to help with this process. It led to the establishment of the Caribbean Environment Program in 1981, and then the development of the Cartagena Convention in 1983, and then the establishment of the office in 1986.
We all know by now that there are a lot of environmental issues in the world and certainly in the Caribbean. So the Secretariat provides that platform to convene the countries and discuss these issues as a region. Now, not just anymore individually, because that is done within the countries themselves, but is the convener of the countries, provides the platform to discuss these issues and to hopefully come to some common understanding in terms of how to manage them and what is the responsibility collectively.
As far as people who have really been visionaries and leaders in the Secretariat, there are many, both from within the Secretariat, I would say, and also externally.
What I loved was the fact that although we worked very closely together, and it was important to all of us, the outcome of our work, because at the end of the day, we wanted to be the best for the Cartagena Conventions, and be the best for the governments and satisfy all of their needs and requirements the best way we could. But we always made time for each other.
Over the 29 years that I have been involved with the Secretariat in one shape or another, I believe that what I've seen is maturity. Maturity within the member states themselves, where oceans and coastal issues are a very high priority. And that is a process that used to ebb and flow. There were times when it was much higher, there were times when it was much lower. Right now, we're seeing a consistently high level of priority given to oceans and coast.
This is one of the most unique opportunities working with the Cartagena Convention truly, I will say that it's a fascinating experience, professional experience. So we work with colleagues from the transatlantic region and so many others. The scope of work represents endless opportunities to meet with people, I will say, on daily basis. So you need to have a kind of practice good memory, because you meet at least 6 or 7 people every week from different organizations, being these research institutions, scientists, and NGOs, new changes on focal points. So it's incredible the amount of exposure that we have to meet all these people and address issues that are as important as biodiversity, pollution, and others. So it's a rewarding opportunity and an important aspect to exchange, to have dialogues, exchanges, discussions, drafting policies, and trying to see how, with interaction with these renowned scientists and experts in different fields, for example, marine mammals, fishes, corals, mangroves, emerging issues as sargassum and protected areas, among other topics. If I can say in a few words, it's a dream come true job.
We started off realizing that we could not travel this journey alone. And we have actively attempted to enter into agreements with other global multilateral environmental agreements, with other organizations in the region. And most recently, these have been formalized through memorandums of understanding.
This is a very important relation for us. Moreover, that Colombia is the depositary of the Cartagena Convention agreement. So this is not only, let's say, a thing of pride for our country, but we are, of course, not only as a depositary, but a leader in terms of the complexities and challenges of the agreement. Of course, we are part of that scientific, let's say, side of supporting all the actions, not only in the country, for the Secretariat and other neighbor countries. We find this not only as a challenge, but an obligation. We know that the issues that the Cartagena Convention is facing regarding the conservation of marine landscapes, the conservation of species, the problems of pollution, it's not only important, but it's I would say that critical for the livelihoods of the people around the Caribbean, and of course for the future of humanity. We are strong believers in that, and of course our work is focusing to supporting the activities of the Secretariat around these issues.
So I was the director of SPORAC 5 or 6 years ago. We were complementary because we were more on technical issues and on the management of projects. And the Secretariat maybe was more in the political issues and in the life of a convention and protocol. So we had, of course, different projects, but during the period I was director, there was a specific new issue, a raising issue, which was the sargassum influx, and so we managed to start cooperation between the different countries to help face this new issue and to share experiences, to share good practices. So, in my opinion, the Secretariat was at the center of the implementation of the convention. It was responsible, of course, for the good implementation of the convention and of the protocols, and it was able to build bridges between the different protocols and the different regional activity centers also. So it was, of course, very important to us to have someone reliable in the Secretariat.
The Netherlands is a partner. Netherlands is a part of the wider Caribbean region, and they're a signatory to the convention. The Netherlands was one of the the state that basically recommended a center be set up in Curacao to deal with the oil spill protocol. So we can say with the introduction of the convention, with the introduction of the oil spill protocol, we are seeing where precautionary measures are being taken. The dialogue with the different partners and with the different states have put us in a situation now where legislation and regulations are being pushed forward and they're being accepted. And with these legislations and regulations, we find that more care is being taken by people, countries, organizations that are involved in shipping of oil.
There have been triumphs that I've witnessed, that I've been a part of, that I think not just we as a secretariat, but the region can be proud of. First of all, we've seen engagement by all of the countries, irrespective of size, irrespective of economic development, profile. So all the countries of the region have an equal voice at our fora. Now, it's one thing to say they have an equal voice. It's another thing to say they use that equal voice. And one of the triumphs certainly is to see St. Vincent and the Grenadines or Haiti or Aruba speaking at our meetings, providing positions that are being then accepted by the larger countries which we represent. And that for me is a significant triumph.
The program grew certainly a lot. I mean, as I said at the beginning, it became from a program that was solely project-based, and it had a number of projects, a handful of projects, to a full-fledged program with two major sub-programs responding to the protocols, and one sub-program supporting the other programs dealing with education, training and awareness, and each of those programs with dozens, I would say, of projects and activities.
I see the Secretariat as a lifeline, if I might use that analogy, to ensuring the protection of the marine environment within the region. We have this body that is committed, individuals who are committed and are knowledgeable to what is happening.
One big advantage that the Secretariat has at this time is the priority that is being given to oceans and coasts globally. And as a result, we are seeing a response, a building of momentum within member states and in the region among our partners as well, among our non-governmental partners as well, to move towards the implementation of the convention as the legal framework for delivery of a clean, healthy, productive ocean in the region.
If we don't have cooperation between us, it's going to be useless what we do individually. The only way of moving forward is to have everybody in the same boat and rowing in the same direction, and it's critical. It's really, really critical, and I believe that's the major value of an organization that can bring together all the stakeholders and meaning from this not only the official, the governments, but we have also private investors, we have community, we have children, everybody to move in the same direction. So that's maybe what I would say that's the major richness of the work of the Secretariat and the way how it brings together all the different actors in the region.
We've been given one planet, which we are totally abusing. We're trying to show and teach people all over the world, in the wider Caribbean region and all over the world, when you encompass UNEP, just how important the environment is. And in our region and with our 3 protocols, we have done so much. And I think that if everyone just did made the smallest effort to just take care of our environment, I think it would really make a difference. And this is what we do at the Cartagena Convention. Try to have the governments, as I said before, ratify our protocols, do their projects the way they're supposed to do. We guide them, we teach them. There's so many programs that teach these people all over the wider Caribbean.
It's about ensuring that we continue to use our coastal and marine resources in a way that doesn't impact on our sustainability, on our livelihoods, on our future. We have to recognize, and what I would love to see as the future for the work of the Secretariat is continuing to showcase the opportunities that we have to use our coastal and marine resources, but not to degrade them, not to damage them, not to jeopardize our sustainability. Whether it be fishing, whether it be tourism, whether it be maritime wind energy, there are so many opportunities now that are being talked about as we discuss blue economy and blue economy approaches. We would love to see the Secretariat contributing to that discussion in a meaningful way, but remaining core to what we were established for, to safeguard the Caribbean Sea for current and future generations.